I'm yet to receive notification saying we are live, but let's hope that we are. And
Right.
oh, my phone's on airplane mode, so I won't receive the notification. But let's hope we are live and get started. Oh, we have one viewer, so we are live.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Momentum Office Hours. My name is Yash, and I'm joined by my co-founders Harsh, Jai, and Kaushik to discuss topic of the week: emerging trends in cloud computing. Our goal is to provide you with actionable insights and practical strategies that you can apply to your own products. Throughout the session, we encourage you to engage with us by asking questions and sharing your thoughts. This is a fantastic opportunity to learn from each other and gain new insights that can help drive your product initiatives forward. So let's get started. Jai, Harsh, Kaushik, how are you doing today?
Nice. Great.
Doing awesome.
Doing
Yeah,
good. Back to
they are
back
Yeah.
doing.
meetings, calls, um, trying to figure out what to do next. How can I survive
Yes.
this meeting and move on to the next
Yeah.
meeting?
Next one. Yeah.
But today we are going to talk about emerging trends in cloud computing. And so, for all the people who tuned in, no points for guessing who will be taking the lead on this one. So, Harsh, let's start with the basic one. What is cloud computing?
Okay. Okay. So let's start with the example. So such
Mhm.
like we can say Google or Microsoft, right? They have built their company, right? So they have also their server, database, network, right? Currently,
Mhm.
they have their physical servers, right? They have their own data warehouse with a warehouse where there are data centers where they store the data, servers,
Correct.
CPU, all these things, right? Now,
Correct.
just like the users, just like us, yeah, the founders, they want to build any SaaS product, right? So they
Mhm.
have good idea, they have tech team to write the code, right? But when the things are going, when they are thinking of deployment, right? When they want to go over the internet, right? So it's not every time possible to they buy the physical CPU device,
Correct.
database, all these things. They create the one small data center in their office, right?
Correct.
So where the resources they are required, so like resource database, networking, the server side, when users can buy these things over the internet, right, or from any cloud service provider. So this called as
Mhm.
cloud computing, where you don't
Mhm.
have to maintain or build or buy any physical device. You just have to, we can say the pay as a go model, right? Where
Got
you
it.
just pay the requirements which you have. That's it. You don't have to maintain the physical device which you need yeah, for your own product. Yeah. So this is a small
Nice.
definition we can say for the cloud computing.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Does it mean that instead of purchasing compute power, I'm basically renting compute power as a service that
Yeah.
someone else has purchased, right? So as an example, Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud
Google.
Platform or Microsoft Azure or DigitalOcean. So
Right.
all of
Right.
those have purchased and built a compute power, which over the internet I am able to purchase as a service instead
Service.
of
Right.
actually paying for it. Is that a fair way to look at it?
Yeah, yeah, perfect, perfect. Yeah, and the thing is, key if you have a physical device, right, it can't be
Mhm.
shared. It can't be shared between the organization, right? But if we
Hmm.
have AWS cloud, they have created one server, and now it can be shareable between the organization. But you have
Correct.
specific, we can say the boundary all this, but the actual physical servers that can be shareable between the organization.
Got it.
Yeah, right,
Got it.
right.
So,
Understood.
Harsh, yeah. So, Harsh, what I have been, a little very active in LinkedIn a lot of times, and like what I could see is there a discussion on multi-cloud strategies, to optimize the performance, reduce cost, and like also ensuring the data redundancy. Could you brief us little about the same on like how having multi-cloud strategies implemented in one's own product would be helpful?
Sure, sure. So before going to multi-cloud, let's first understand the public cloud and the private cloud.
Mhm.
Okay, so just consider if we have in-house servers or CPU, right? Or we have all the infrastructure in-house, then it's called as a private cloud. Okay, that can be shareable between the organization. All the data are stored in our, we can say our network, right? It can be accessible over the internet. But when we have the public cloud, so public cloud means ke the actual data can be accessible over the internet. So let me give you example. So we can say AWS, right? AWS, Azure, Google, GCP, right? All these things are public cloud, so that anyone can buy their cloud requirements from the cloud service provider over the internet, right?
Right.
But we can say such like Oracle, yeah, we can say IBM, right? They have their own cloud, but it is a private. They are only associated with there. So data cannot be shareable. Data cannot be accessible over the internet. If you want to access the data, they have their own network. So they have two things: private cloud and the public cloud, right? Now such like the why the concept of multi-cloud is coming, right?
Yeah.
Currently, so we can say any such like any if we want to deploy a SaaS product, right? So we need different services, such like we need CPU to utilize the servers, right? We need the database server to store the data. We need some we can say storage where we store the medias, right? We need some email service. They are helpful to send them, and right, these are the all services which we need for any SaaS products, right?
Right.
Now any set like the we can say there are AWS, Azure, GCP, right? This all service provider can provide this service, right? But we can consider which is the best service provider for my use case. Okay, such like we can say if I want to use MySQL database, right? So what is the best we can say what is the best cost efficiency service provider that give me the in low cost, right? But if you want to use the NoSQL database, that could be possible. The different service provider have the good service support things, good we can say the price will be good, right? So in multi-cloud, we can say we are using the different public cloud service provider, such like the AWS, GCP for my different use cases. Such like let me give you example. Like in AWS, we have one service S3, okay, which is
Yeah.
useful to we can say the deploy the static website. Okay, so we can say from my front end application, I can use my AWS services. Okay, but if we can say on the backend side, if my service is, my backend is very strong, right, and if my application is enterprise, then I need some we can say container service. So at that time, Google have their own Kubernetes services, which is very we can say the scalability, and it's very optimized way. So for the backend, we can use the GCP. So this multi-cloud, we have used the different public we can say cloud for my application. This is known as a multi-cloud.
So and so I just repeat what you said, and correct me if I'm misinterpreting it. Would it be fair to say that, as an example, if I'm planning my wedding, I have two ways to go about it. One is I go to an event management company, and then they'll arrange for the decorators, the caterers, the performers, the entertainment, everything, right?
Yeah,
But the second way to go about it is that I would go to one company which is known for really good decorations, and then another company which is really good for which is known for catering, and then a third company which is able to bring in good performance artists or whatever, right? And from a wedding use case. So so first would be sort of a single cloud, which is where I go to one company and then they arrange everything for me, and I have to use whoever they bring on board. In the second case, I am basically going to whoever's known best for
right.
whatever service they are offering. Would that be a fair way to
Yeah,
look at
yeah,
it?
yes, right. Yeah, the examples is a correct way. Yeah, in the so there are the two cloud, right? The multi cloud and the hybrid cloud too, right? So in your example, we can say that like the
Hmm.
in my home, I have my own background on my garden,
Hmm.
right, where I
Hmm.
can do my wedding. Okay, so we can say I have my own space. I don't need any
Hmm.
hotel or banquet to my wedding, but
Hmm.
I hire some agency to for decoration for my catering, right? So we can
Got it.
say some of things have in-house, and
Hmm.
I buy some services from the public environment,
Got it.
right? So this is known as a hybrid, right?
Got it.
Where we so in public we can say all the things are have the public in multi-cloud. We can say we use different services from public service provider. Wherein hybrid, we can say I have some in-house things, which is a private
Hmm.
cloud, and because of cost optimization or some have better services, I can go to the my public service provider to cater my services. Yeah,
Hmm.
right, right.
Got it.
So, Harsh, drawing from what the point that you just mentioned. So, let's say I'm an early stage. I'm trying to sketch a profile, and if that person has a demand, how would someone like that would go about? So, let's say I'm an early stage SaaS product which works with AI as one of its core functionalities. So, how do I go about choosing my service provider? Like from cost, from even security concerns, and all those different
Performance,
parameters.
right?
Yeah,
Performance as well.
performance, and also the scalability aspect of it, right? Future, if I want to scale, how do I go about? So, how do I even go about considering which service provider to choose?
Yeah, so as I told you, na, each service provider has their own capabilities. We can say some uniqueness, right? So it's like all the service provider have the all services, the database servers. We can say the mail service, the we can say the Elastic, Redis thing, all these things. Everyone has their own capabilities, but how they will how they maintain or how the things are we can say the user friendly for the development or deploy things such like the we can say uh, such like the if I have one server, okay, now if according to my business I know, okay, within few months my traffic will be go from 100 users to the million of users, let's say example, okay. So I want auto scaling things for my server, right? Now let's go say, okay, for auto scaling what is the I will compare the price range, right? For the such like the AWS or GCP, you can consider two service provider, right? So I will compare the things. Next things key, if I want to scale my servers, right? So what are the configurations I have to change? Whether it is user friendly, whether they are giving the downtime zero or not, right? So we can say that like as you mentioned, said like you have AI product, right?
Yeah.
So which service provider have the better integrations with the AI models, such like the GPT, Llama, right? That like in Amazon, we have the Bedrock services which have integrated uh, all the AI models, right? So, but currently GCP is their own bird. But what are the use cases? Like if you have NLP, right? So it is the best to use the AWS Meta service to generate the data from the AI, right? So in this way, we can decide which service provider is best for us, whether the AWS or GCP or Azure.
Got it.
Right.
So
So
the other, sorry, Jay, because
yeah.
this is, I mean, it sort of goes against some of the firm beliefs that I have, which is sort of go ahead with one thing and then just put all of your confidence into that one thing, right? Um, don't you think that when we go to multi-cloud or hybrid cloud, we are just we are just increasing the chances of failure, right? Because now if there are different services that are being procured from, let's say, one from AWS, GCP, Azure, and then even my own server, as an example, even like it just increases the chances of failure to 4x, right? Because even if one of them goes down, my app cannot run properly, right? So if I'm using S3 of AWS and I'm using, let's say, some controller service from Azure, if one of them goes down, the app stops working.
Yeah. So I think in other way, right? So it's like the if you have only one service provider, right? So it's like if you're using AWS for all the services, right? And currently consider that you have selected some US region, right, where the
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
server database is stored. Now, if the is this region can be destroyed because of some reason, right? Then
Yeah,
what
let's
happens?
say tsunami.
Tsunami, right? Then all the data,
Yeah,
all the servers, all things are
destroyed.
vanished, right? Now, just consider if you have divide your application in such a way that you have multi-cloud, such like the database you
Ah,
are storing in the GCP, or you can say the servers are available in AWS service, right? So actually, one of the best advantages of using multi-cloud is like the disaster recovery. So it's like you cannot
hmm,
be rely only on one service provider.
Yeah.
When
hmm,
in future, even if such like the AWS have increased their price, right? So you have chance to move from AWS to GCP if you're using multi-cloud,
Hmm.
because you are not rely on only
Correct.
one service provider, right?
Correct. And
Yeah.
this is interesting because what just happened in this back and forth is there is a very poor, I mean not poor, but like not well thought comment that I like a couple of friends and I use, which is basically when I say something and then someone tells me a counterpoint which is so true that that I'm just left speechless. So this is we say how the turns the tables, right? Which is so so what I thought is risky is actually risk mitigation, right? Which
Yeah.
is which is interesting. So but sorry, Jai, you were saying something.
No, that's completely fine. So,
Yeah, and also the other point is, currently we can say the Europe, US side, the different country have their own regulation, right? Now just consider, if I am India based or I am US based, right? But if I want to establish my business in Europe, right? Then there I have to follow, or I have to some restrictions or GDPR, right? So in this way,
Correct.
we can say, this multi-cloud can help us so that I can set up my database, because in Europe, right? But possible that, okay, because of my business is global, so I can put my other servers on the US region too, right? So in this
Correct.
way, we can use the multi-cloud too.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
Jay.
Interesting. Yeah. So, just had an open question asked with respect to. So we discussed certain, trends with respect to cloud computing, especially little about AI and more about having multi-cloud solutions. And you mentioned little about the compliance side as well. Would there be any other trends that especially SaaS founders should focus upon right now and utilize it, especially so far as
Yeah, yeah.
cloud
So,
computing?
so currently, I think everyone is focusing on the performance, right? Everyone wants, okay, my application speed is very fast. I want think on this click, I just want to load my page, right?
Right.
So actually, just consider ki how these things, how you can get the data faster and faster, right?
Yeah.
So currently, the new trend is the, we can say, the edge computing. Okay, so now just consider, we can say, uh, I just want to open any website, or like we can say any global, we can say Amazon, right? Amazon.
Yeah.
So I just when I open to Amazon, right? So what do you think? Where the actual data is coming? So like the product listing, right? The pricing, right? So just consider ki if there is only one, we can say we can say in USA there is only one city where all the data is stored, right? Then it
Yeah.
can be possible the data, the users, they are nearby this region can get the data faster, right? But the users, or we can say the customers who are very far from this, we can say the data center, they will get the data very late, right?
Right.
So because so they the this is a very major performance issue. How we can fix this by using, where what we can do ki, we can divide the big region into small region, okay, and each small region have their own small data center where we can store the data as a caching way, okay, so that all the users can have the same performance speed, right? Yeah, and so there are some training also, such like how we can sync the data between the multi small regions, right? So these are the one challenge that can be fixed by the simple through. But yeah, so this is a new concept, so that globally in over the world
Hmm.
we can give our customer the best service, if even if they are any regions, we can say
Hmm.
any city or any state, in this way.
Got it. So
Yeah,
it's so funny because so I as a mechanical engineer and with a person who has keen interest in physics, I know that these data this data is basically photon packets that travel at speed of light, and it is a testament to our low attention spans, and the fact that uh, 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 we need the data so quickly that speed of light is not enough.
right.
So we have to we have to like figure out a way to get around the speed of light and physically get closer to the customers or consumers, that
Yeah,
if the data is coming to my phone at that speed, I still find it a little slow. But interesting, yeah. So the other thing that I also want to understand is I've come across this term called serverless computing.
Yeah.
And when I read it for the first time, I thought, oh my God, Amazon's going to shut down. So tell me why I'm wrong. Tell
No,
me why
no.
I'm wrong. Like, what is serverless computing?
Yeah, yeah. So before going to serverless, the previous concept at the edge computing, let me give an example. Okay,
Yeah,
currently
yeah.
we have the great concept of smart city, right?
Yeah.
So there are so in smart city, just we have traffic signals, right? So in smart city, the traffic signals are built in such a way that if the traffic is very high, right, so automatically the time duration of stop and start can be changed, right? So these things need some real time data, right? So like they
Yeah,
have good
yeah.
camera or signal things, right? They capture the real time data, do some processing, and then give the data. Okay, which time can we best use? So this is one of the best example of edge computing, okay, right? So in smart city, they have small,
Hmm.
we can say the small data center in every small region. They will do this calculation and give the data faster, right? So yeah, so
Got it.
I just remember this example. Let me give you the example
Interesting.
so that yeah, right.
Interesting. Now
Yeah.
tell us why serverless computing is not going to shut down Amazon.
So serverless concepts, we can if I such like the if I want to use serverless capabilities, right, then I need some service providers such like the Amazon. I cannot uh, so what is the meaning of serverless? First understand that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in serverless, it is not like there is no server. Okay, Amazon have their own server, their own database, but thing is you don't have to maintain, right? So like just consider. mm, I have one SaaS product. Okay, now if I want to use Amazon Web Service, right, in the
Hmm.
server, not serverless, using server, right, I have to decide okay, how many CPUs, how many RAMs I need for my server, right? What are the configurations I need for my database too,
Hmm.
right? And if the traffic can be high, right, then I have to increase my server capabilities, right? I have to all these things I have to done this all this manually, right? Now just consider the concept where I don't want to maintain all these things. Okay, I just tell you this is my thing, this is my code base. Now all the traffics, all the configurations that can be handled by other service. This is not a serverless where you don't have to configure your server configurations. Okay, they can be automated.
But I still need a server, is it?
Yeah, yes. So in serverless, Amazon have their own server. Okay, let me give you.
Some marketing person in some conference room has been over promising to everyone, because I mean, so imagine if you bought a packet of Lay's and it said poisonless chips, but then poisonless still means that there is poison, but it's still poisonless. I mean, it doesn't. It's serverless, right? So it should not. But
Yeah.
tell us.
So
So like,
yeah. So just consider कि there is a one cupboard, okay, where you put your clothes, right? So in we can say in one part you decide, okay, I have put my clothes in this box, right? And the other parts can be used by anyone, okay? So the box which I have decided, okay, I put my clothes here. This is not a server. I have decided, okay, this box is utilized only by me, okay.
hmm,
I put my clothes, I remove my clothes, all these things I do my own self, right? But the other space in which cupboard. So like the according to the users, they are coming to the room. They will put their clothes, they will remove automatically. All these things are done automatically. You don't have to think about.
hmm,
Yeah. So this is a
got
server,
it.
right?
So
Uh,
this is a cupboardless
Cupboard.
situation, right? But by the way, in this example, you have very accurately described my cupboard. So nothing there. So I have a box in my cupboard, which is where all my stuff lives, and then the rest of the cupboard is used by my lovely wife, and that's sort of pretty much it. I just manage everything that's in the box, and the rest of the things is Crazy how accurate it is. You're also married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Thought
you,
so.
you have a cupboardless cupboard. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's cover. Interesting.
Right, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, Harsh, I think just drawing back to the question, I mean the answer that you gave to the question that I was giving, and all these service providers, just like how you have mentioned, AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, all of them give AI and machine learning as a service now, and they do give these. I think they giving these services have transformed the entire industry in past, especially in 1.5 2 years, significantly, where we are seeing it everywhere, right? And so let's say if if I have a product which doesn't have any of the AI features, and but I do want to have some of the other AI features within my product. Let's say something as simple as it just summarizes a particular set of data points that I have. So how do I integrate with these service providers? What is the process for this? How do I do this in the first place?
Okay, understood. So, firstly, in AI, okay, there are different use cases, okay, and each use case have can be we can say can be fixed by some models, okay. So, it's like if your product is image processing or not, okay. If
Hmm.
your product have the natural language processing, they need natural processing or not. They have some feature or prediction or not, right? So in each particular use cases, there are different services are available. Okay, such like the if I want to predict anything, right? So such like I have the list of invoice data, right? And I want to predict the what can be uh, you can say the profit of the next quarter, right? If I want to predict this data, so I need some time series data from which is a historical data. So for these particular use cases, they have some AI have different model.
Hmm.
Okay, in if this model is integrated with the service provider, then we can use by we can say their APIs or their script code,
Hmm.
right? So according to use case, we can have the different models. And currently, as I told, Amazon have the Bedrock service, right?
Hmm.
Which have the integrated with different models, such like the Llama GPT, not GPT, yeah, but Llama. They have, I think, for image processing, they also have some model, right? So according to use cases, you can choose which model is best for you,
Hmm.
and in this way, you can integrate the AI capabilities in your product.
So I decide upon the list of tasks that I have, and then decide which task needs some AI capability within them, and then I choose the module that the service providers provide. So that's
Yeah.
the okay, got
Yeah,
it.
right, right, right. And other things, key, there are two things in AI. So first thing, the choose scrap, right? I have some AI, we can say the AI use case, right?
Hmm.
Which I want to integrate in my product. And
Hmm.
for that, I can use the GPT or Llama or any models for my use cases, right? Other things which currently trading is the AI in cloud computing. Okay, such like the we can say just consider serverless, right? We have serverless config. I have serverless model for right, and each request I am storing the data in my log format, right? Okay,
Hmm.
where the time, what are the data they are fetching, what is the URL endpoint, right? Now, if I want to, we can say I want to use AI in this data, such like we can say which API is called maximum times, right? What is the maximum response time which I will get? How to improve my response time? So in cloud computing, currently this is a latest thing where you can integrate, you can configure AI in the cloud computing. Such like the log format, we can say, yeah, we can say in server too. Like I want to check how many IPs are if there are any DOS attack, right? So I will fetch the IP,
Hmm.
right? From which IP I will get the more traffic, right?
Hmm.
So in cloud, so in this way we can use the AI in cloud computing. So there are two different things. We can integrate AI for my use cases by we can say by configuring the AI models that can be provided by a service provider or not.
Hmm.
Other things ki you can use the AI for your cloud computing. So
Hmm.
for to analysis to predict the uh, we can say yeah for predictions in this way.
Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Interesting. So I think that brings us to the end of the conversation today. I think it was a meaningful conversation where at least the three of us were enlightened on. Jai, it really teaches us, right, how marketing
Yeah,
works.
indeed.
Right?
It does.
You can also if you put your mind to it, you can also write zero cost proposals, like
Indeed.
costless proposals, right? They
Yeah.
still have some cost attached to it, but yeah, but interesting. Yeah, this is meaningful.
Thanks, bye.
So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Harsh for taking our questions around cloud computing. I understand that these were very naive and early stage questions, but I hope all the people who joined in were able to get some value out of this as well. And for all the people who joined in, do check us out. We go live every Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yes. Yeah. Bye,
Interesting.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.